Well, welcome to another Verso video. This week we're going to be looking at place value, and we're going to be looking at how that works and how that affects the way we say our numbers. Most of this, a lot of you will already know, so a lot of this will just be kind of revision as to what you already know, but we are going to extend it a little bit further into the thousands column. As I said, most of you already know this, and as you can see down here, I've created my own place value chart. I forgot what it was called for a second then, but it's called a place value chart. So you're not going to be seeing too much of me. You're just going to be hearing my voice as I'm going to be moving things around. I have some blocks that we're going to be using. I have some numbers that we're going to be using. But in general, it's all going to be focused down here. So I'm going to move the camera now, and I will see you later. Now to start with, we're going to look at the ones column. And this is very simple because no matter what number we put in there, be it a 5, be it a 9, be it a 1, no matter what number we put in there, that is the only number we have to say, and that's really easy. And we can represent this and show this by using these cubes. So I'm sure you've all seen these cubes before, and they just represent 1. So for example, if I put 1 in there, then it just means 1. If I put 9 in there, and a bit of hair, if I put 9 in there, it's going to mean 9. But when I get to 9, I have a bit of a problem because I can't fit any more 1s into my 1s column. 9 is as high as I can go. So what I've got to do is I've got to trade these. So I've got to take these 9 blocks, and if I want to add 1 more, I need to trade them for one of these longs, which has 10 blocks in them all together. So you can count them, pause this and count them if you want, but there are 10 there. And so we put that into there. And all of a sudden, I have 1 tens, because that's what that long row represents, tens. I have 1 10, and I have no 1s. Now this 0 is very important, because if I didn't have that there, if I just said I had 1 10, if I covered up these here, and you only saw the number 1, you'd have no idea if I was talking about 10, or whether it was 1, or 100, or 1,000. So this 0 here in the north, in the ones column I should say, is very important because it lets us know that we have the number 10. And once again, I can add up to 9 blocks in my ones column to get up to 19. Now that I have my 9 blocks in there again, but they're being hidden. So my 9 blocks once again. Once again, if I want to add 1 more to that, I've got to get rid of my 9. Got to trade up again. So instead of just having 1 10 now, I add my second block. And I now have 2 10s. So I can get rid of this, and I can have 2 10s, which makes 20, as we know. 2 10s makes 20. But I still need to let you know how many I have in the ones column. So I've got to get my 0 again, and I've got to let you know that I have 20. Now, this keeps going. Every time I add 9 to here, to the ones column, when I want to add 1 more, I've got to add an extra 1 to the tens column. So if I have 29, it would become 30, and so on, up until I had 9, and they're all not going to fit properly in here, but trust me, I have 9 here, and 9 1s. So I have the number 99. So I now have the number 99. I've got some of my 10s sticking out the bottom there. But if I want to add just 1 more little block, I can't trade 9 blocks for another long because that would give me 10 of these long blocks. And so what I have to do is I have to trade these 9s for another long to get me 10, but then I have to trade these 10 for one of these flats, which have 10 of these stuck together. So if you have a look, you can count the columns going down. There are 10 of them there. And so I have to put that down, and so that is now what's called my hundreds. And so I now have 100 I have no 10s, and I have no 1s. And so I have the number 100. For 100, no 10s and no 1s. And now if I wanted to add one block in, I've now got 100, no 10s, but 1, 1. And I don't actually have another number 1 on me. I forgot to draw that. So just imagine that there is a number 1 there as well. So I now have 101. Once again, this goes all the way up. Once I have 9 blocks, so I have 109. Well, I want to add one more of those small blocks, so one more. I need to trade them up once again and get rid of my 9 blocks as one tries to escape into another 10. And now all of a sudden I have 100, 110, and 0, 1. So I have 110. Now this keeps going on and on and on until I get, once again, to 100, 9 10s. So I'm going to cover that up again, so there are 9 10s there. And 9 1s. Once I have that, if I want to add one more, I've now got to go and trade my 9 blocks for another one of these longs, and then I've got to trade these longs, so now that I've got 10 of them, for another flat, which counts as 100 for another 100. And so once I have 200 sitting there now, I would now have the number 200, because I'll have 2 flats, which means makes 200, no 10s, and no 1s. Now this keeps going, trading up from 9 1s to a long, and then 10 longs to 100, and then once I get to 10 hundreds, I need to trade them up to 1,000. So let's pretend, and I don't have enough room to put them all on, so you're just going to have to imagine this. Let's pretend I had 9 hundreds under that bit of paper. I had 9 10s, and I had 9 1s. So I had the number 999. I then wanted to add one more cube to it. So I've got to trade all 10 of my blocks, my 1 blocks, for another 10. But I've already got 9, so I've got to trade all these 9s, so my 9 longs, for another 100, which means I've now got 10 hundreds. So what I need to do is trade my 10 hundreds for a 1,000 block. Now, I don't have a 1,000 block with me. I've got one at school. So for an extra Panania ticket, when you watch this video, you need to come and see me at school and ask to see the 1,000 block. That's how I know that you'll have watched this video. So I traded up for my 1,000 block. And once again, I have no hundreds, no 10s, and no 1s, which gives me the number 1,000. If I had one block here, I would have the number 1,001. If I had a 10s instead of a 1, I would have 1,010. And if I had a 100, where did I put my, there it is. If I had a 100 there, I would have 1,100. And so each time I get 10 of whether it's a 1s, whether it's a long 10, or whether it's a flat 100, every time I get to 10, I need to trade up to the next one. So from a 1s to a 10s to a 100s, and a 100s to 1,000 every time I get 10 in each column. Now, for your questions, when you watch this video, you need to answer 2 things for me. I was going to make it 1, but I'm going to make it 2. Number 1, you need to tell me how many of each column you need, 1s, 10s, 100s, and so on. How many of each column you need before you trade up to the next one. And number 2, you need to tell me how many No, actually, tell you what, we'll just leave it at 1. This video's already gone long enough. So just tell me that one thing in the comments below. Now, I'm sorry for the long video, but I had to go through a bit of explanation. And as always, I will see you in class.